Hello everyone, I'm Jim Lee for SpeedEndurance.com and welcome to SpeedEndurance TV. Today I'm at the Rome Golden Gala at the Mead Hotel and I have Coach Rana Reider from British Athletics. Coach, thanks for joining me here.
Thanks for having me.
It's nice weather we're having here compared to where I was last week in Vancouver. So I got a few coaching questions, open-ended questions, and I guess the obvious question is, how are your athletes from America handling London? How's Christian Taylor doing? How is he adjusting to the food, driving on the other side of the road?
He's doing well. I mean, it's not really the food or anything, it's the weather. Obviously has been a big change coming from Atlanta to Florida and suddenly being months and months of dark and cold. But he's doing well. I think it's making him stronger. We're adjusting stuff to get him more comfortable. But yeah, he's doing well.
Obviously his program hasn't changed much since being in Florida, right, from the past.
Well, I mean,
is he adjusting anything to suit the group? Are you doing your weights after you're running?
We've always lifted after our track sessions, but every year kind of has a theme for him. It's like looking at long-term development. So this year is more of a speed year. So less jumping, more speed work, and based around it. So we have the bifold world, so we can slowly jump in.
Oh, good. And how about like Dwayne Chambers? He's now with you. How do you change his program? Like, he's a sub-masters or masters. He's 35 now. He's had 15 to 20 years of training under him. What are you going to change with him? What Dan and Stewart are doing back in Lee Valley last year?
Yeah, I mean, with the guys that have a long history and numerous coaches, and going from Dwayne, by himself, coaching himself in Jamaica for most of last year. So you got to get feedback and kind of almost guide them and make slow changes. It's with the British athletes, it's a little bit of a struggle to get used to have the American system and the American way of doing things. It's very aggressive, and early competitions aren't that important to me. I don't worry about time. I just look at what I want to see in terms of race models or how they're progressing. And for them, the mentality of the race while tired is a big change.
How about like performance therapy? I know his past coaches would do a lot of on-site track manual therapy. Who do you have at the Loughborough Center?
No, I mean, I have a really good on-track therapy team. Andy Burke. Andy Burke's my main guy, and then John Murray was hired he was good for the last couple of years. And then Lee came in from judo, who has some different aspects that he can add in. So I think the team around us is good. So it's a work in progress, but we're all getting to know each other and kind of making progress.
So no major changes, like other than for me, volumes and intensities, anything on that scale?
In terms of the British athletes, I think I do a lot more than I used to. I like to do. My warm-ups are a lot longer, so I get a lot of volume in the warm-up, and then I can play around with the intensities that we're running. And it varies throughout, training cycles, but each program is individual, so no one's doing the same program. And so, it really, someone coming from Dan's program, there's more intensity to it. So, it's just a balancing act. After the Olympic Games, a lot of people have a mental letdown of whether they did good or bad, so you got to balance that.
Are you looking forward to, say, Commonwealth Games or the next Olympics, or what kind of cycle are you aiming at now?
Yeah, I mean, with the older guys, you got to go year to year and to get them through and make progress, or don't go backwards, and make small changes and help them adapt. But you can't look long term at anything. So he still has the talent and the skills. You just gotta keep him healthy, and hiccup indoors or something. He's fought off of his back, and it's taking a while to get back. And he has to make a living, so he was out in France and stuff like that. The beginning of the season, so we'll be ready to go in 5 weeks.
Good. You have a couple of jumpers on your team, Sheriff Proctor. How are they developing right now in terms of, like for Moscow? It's early in the year, it's only early June, so there hasn't been many good competitions.
I mean, for Shara, I think she's jumped well. I mean, we're close to jumping really big in terms of velocities on the runway, strength training. everything is ahead of where it's ever been. Exact number is 7% on the track. Huge PBs in the breakers. She's progressing well. She's second in the close to the speed on the level is a little bit, a little bit more than she was ready for. So yeah, so she's doing well.
She's competing today? No.
Yeah, she'll be tomorrow. Yeah.
Tomorrow, right?
So I mean, she was a solid number 4 all last year. She, didn't get it done in the final 2 years. We'll address that. Hopefully, we'll be better this year in Moscow.
Well, I think a lot of athletes had problems at the games in London last year because of swirling winds, and at least on the men's side, and that track is very fast. I don't know, what were your thoughts on London last year on the long jump?
On the men's long jump, I mean, most of the top jumpers were hurt. I mean, Dwight Phillips, Saladino, Lakusha. I mean, pretty much 6 of the top 10 jumpers from the previous year are not even there. So soft.
This happens over here, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's just the way the cycle of track and field. You don't know when this hurdle's out of control. So you never know what the 1085 is. I don't know when it's happening. It's just the way stuff goes.
Oh, the men's 400. I know. I believe Martin Rooney is now with you. Are you going to change this program a bit? What are your plans with Martin in terms of coaching?
With the British athletes, dealing with learning what their medical history has been. They have a large history of medical surgeries, injuries, injections. So Nick Dayton was Marcus Coach before. Did a good job with them. And then he's been on the rehab program for most of this year. He's racing tomorrow. We have 3 races in a week span. Just kind of see where he's at and make some adjustments to him. But he's still young. And so yeah, his program is different in terms of what he's done in the past. A little more speed and power based. But you have to keep some of the stuff he's done in the past to move forward. So it's a blend of what he's done in the past and what I want to do.
I just felt the British 400-meter programs are always long to short in general because of the weather. The crappy weather, you can't really train outdoor. You can't get good quality outdoor runs in until like May. So a lot of them we're just doing high volume types of circuit training. So how do you incorporate that to an American style of training, which is mostly speed powerful?
I mean, I think a lot of the history of what the British guys have done was based on facilities.
Right.
And a lot of it hasn't adapted to those facilities. And that's just I've only been for short months there. So, but I mean, for me, obviously the speed of what goes on has to change when it's cold. But I have to still kind of follow the plan and see where we can make the adjustments on the fly. The training's gone well with them. See how it goes.
Good. How about Harry? Harry, I can't pronounce the last name.
18
Yeah. How's he coming up this year?
Well, I mean,
he ran well indoors.
He ran well indoors. I mean, he was just top 4 or 5 times stats, but he's doing well. He opened up well in Florida, and then Harry's one that obviously has World Junior Champ, has a lot of talent. He's got all the skills to run very fast. He had a major rupture of the hamstring. I think it was in 2010. Back issues, hip issues, lots of injuries.
Right.
And so working through that and trying to get some training volume behind him. I'm not talking about large running volume, but just a background so he can train for a long period of time and then make the progression of what his training needs to do. But he's doing well. I mean, he opened up at 10:27. He's come back and trained very hard. These meets are high intense practices, so they're not completely fresh for these meets because they have to make the team because their trials are late. So they have to be ready to go in 5 weeks. So, yeah.
Right. So how about Steve Fudge is at your same facility, and he has James Dazalu, he has Richard Buck cornered, you have Harry, and you have Richard Buck. Well, he has Richard, you have Martin. How does that sort of work out? I mean, I know you're all the Loughborough Center, but you trade ideas? Or do you train together? You're sick one day.
Like for us, his program's a lot different than mine. And so we're separate, but I get along well with Steve. He knows his athletes, and so if there's anything I see and I think it'll help, I'll let him know. He's just getting started in terms of having a high-level sprinter, so anything I can do to help him progress with the sprint, I'll do. I mean, it's not, like for me, if we're looking at each other trying to be the best in Britain, we're way down the rest of the world, so it's hard for one thing to do. So anything that I can do to help him or help anybody else to progress sprinting is what I do.
I guess you can't practice relays together?
We do.
Yeah?
We're getting relays have been doing well. Under 39 seconds, 38.76.
Okay.
So pretty below average handoffs. So yeah, making progress. 4 different teams running pretty good. Last year it's one meet, so I'm pretty happy with that.
Good. Well, I work in IT full time, and I work on a lot of big data projects, and I compile data on all the athletes, what they lift, what they run, distances, total volumes. Since I love technology, what do you use for technology in terms of timing, 3 laps per hour? You keep track of all your times?
I'm kind of a nerd when it comes to gadgets, so I have a rally timing system that I've had for years. I have 14 pairs, so I know every 10 minutes along with the track. I bought a 3 lap timing system this spring, which we're getting used to, and I've had owned a ladder for years, and so I use that. And we use the hopper jump. So with hopper jump, labbing, and then high speed film. And then, like, my main thing is I use Dartfish. Everything I use is, I have Dartfish Express on my iPad. I have Dartfish 7.0 on my computer. Pretty much that's all I do. Video and go over stuff. But yeah, Dartfish is, I'd say if I had to pick one, it would be Dartfish. I'd go from there. You get all the times off of Dartfish and
Right. And do you use that a lot to correct like biomechanics?
Yeah.
You have to track, on speed days, recording every single speed session? Everything.
Yeah.
So.
Luckily at our center we have big cameras. We have cameras and big TVs right there at the track, so if we're doing mountain walking stations indoors, I can set it up on a delay. They can walk over and look at what they just did. I can show them what I see wrong, and we can make a correction and go from there. So it's instant feedback.
They have you and Lauren Seagrave on the Dartfish advertising. You have a big grid of 12 coaches all holding the Dartfish, and you're one of them. So
I mean, Victor in Atlanta has been really good to me in terms of helping me out with Dartfish, and I'm actually going to test some prototype glasses, HD glasses this week to see that you record.
Okay.
So I like Dartfish is great.
And timing's pretty good. You do a lot of fly times and walk times, or
we do a lot. I've got to spend years working with Ralph in the U.S. system and what he teaches and how he gets data, so I have a reference point. Gatlin and Dave and all these guys who are running cars. Obviously, Chiana last year, I know what she did on team before, so we kind of use that as a reference point and we set up a lot of the same parameters to see what we're at.
Well, how much does the coach need to dissect to the point of paralysis? We talk about ground contact, stride length. I mean, we talk about 0.11 or ground contact. We can't measure that. So how do you transfer that kind of knowledge onto the track, knowing everything you know about ground contact, stride length, angles?
Like for me, the data's for me, and so I don't paralyze an athlete. There's certain athletes that have higher education and higher understanding of the process, but other ones just need to know a feeling. So if you make an adjustment on your start or adjustment on the max velocity, just give them basic, this is where your shin's at, this is where I want it, and it works, they'll feel it, go from there. But I can tell Harry's off around 0.09, which is what a 9.8 guy is, but if we're running 10, 20, 10, 30, So, I mean, we have the parameters there, but it's just got to be faster.
Right.
But, you know, we have the off the jump so I can make ground contact times and all that stuff, and it's instant feedback. But, you know, for them to run over to the computer and not be able to do anything with it, it happens kind of places.
Right. So it has to be like feedback and show them at the track, and then just one cue to fix, and then.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you focus on one, you know, have a theme for the day, and focus on that. That's a good way to start.
How about one last question on planning? Are you like just aiming for Worlds now? Is there a little break after like trials before going to Worlds? Are you periodizing like 3 times or 2 times this year, or just one long peak?
No, it's different for everybody, obviously. Like Christian is just a single peak year. We jump from short approach the first couple meets, 12 steps. We're moving back to 14 here. I know where his speed is. I know exactly what velocity is for each approach, and so we can slowly move back. And when the time comes, he'll come to the right time. James Ellington didn't race indoors. Trained all the way through indoors. Ran 20:47 last week, and we got the track in 7 hours. And so these guys have to make the team that against him, which is a different experience for me getting them to get a standard. I'm used to that happening on that. So obviously you got to get the standard and then adjust the training to get ready for trials. So, the top one is the only way to spot it.
Right. Canada's not even make the COC standard, which is even tougher than the
standard, a couple other stuff.
We have our challenges.
Well,
thanks for your time.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and good luck tomorrow. I'll be at the track and see how it goes.
Thank you.